They told you England was just rainy days, royal guards, and fish and chips. They lied. Because for the last 30 years, something crazy has been unfolding right under everyone's nose. And most people still have no clue. If you think you know England, you're about to find out you've only scratched the surface. Most people think of England like a postcard. Big Ben, red buses, and maybe the Queen waving on a balcony. But what if I told you that, hidden across England's hills, coastlines, and back alleys, there are stories from the last 3 decades that completely shatter that picture? Get ready, because today, we're digging into 30 years of weird, wild, and totally amazing adventures all across England, from hidden shipwrecks and secret festivals to ancient ghost towns that came back to life. And trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna want to see it all for yourself. Here's the real problem. Most people's idea of England is stuck somewhere between a Harry Potter book and an episode of The Crown. But England has been changing, fast. Whole communities have risen from ruins. Forgotten castles opened secret doors. Underground cities were found beneath regular neighborhoods. Wild festivals popped up where no one expected them. And if you're just sticking to London Eye and Buckingham Palace, you're missing 90% of the real adventure. So today we're fixing that. We're gonna walk through 3 full decades of real England, the hidden side, the wild side, and yeah, sometimes the totally insane side. Let's jump back to 1995. England was buzzing, not with TikTok or smartphones, but with something way cooler: secret village revivals. One of the most famous, Tyneham. Tyneham was a small village on the southern coast, abandoned during World War II when the army needed it for training. People packed up, left, and never came back. For decades it sat like a ghost town, fenced off and forgotten. Locals whispered about it. Some said it was haunted, others said it was cursed. But in 1995 something wild happened. The government finally let visitors back in. And what they found was like stepping into a frozen world. Old school books still on desks, laundry still on lines, church pews covered in dust. Visitors wandered through empty houses, reading letters left behind, feeling like the villagers had just vanished. It wasn't just eerie, it was beautiful. Suddenly, Tyneham wasn't a ghost town anymore. It became a living memory, and people started pouring in, not for selfies but for real, raw connection to history. And that set off a chain reaction. Over the next decade, more and more lost villages started getting attention. Warren Percy, Imber, and others started to open up. England's abandoned past wasn't dead. It was waking up. Fast forward to the year 2000. Everyone was scared about Y2K and computers crashing, but something way more fun was happening. England's festival scene exploded. Sure, Glastonbury was already huge, but now every little corner of England wanted in. Tiny villages like Southwell started hosting massive folk music festivals. Old castles like Skipton Castle became backdrops for medieval fairs so real you'd swear you time traveled. And the best part? The festivals weren't just about music, they celebrated weird stuff. There was the World Toe Wrestling Championships in Derbyshire, yes, that's real. The Cheese Rolling Festival in Gloucestershire, where grown adults chased wheels of cheese down a hill and broke bones for fun. Even old Roman ruins at Vindolanda got turned into festival sites, where people in full Roman armor clashed swords under the stars. It was like England decided overnight to just let loose. And the country's image started to shift, from stiff and proper to unpredictable and full of surprises. Here's a crazy thought. How many secret underground cities are hiding under your feet right now? In England, the answer turned out to be a lot. Starting around 2005, explorers started to map out forgotten underground tunnels, hidden bunkers, and secret basements that stretched for miles. One of the wildest discoveries? The Drakelow tunnels near Kidderminster. Originally built during World War II as a shadow factory, they were abandoned and left to rot. By 2005, urban explorers had cracked the entrances open, and what they found was basically a post-apocalyptic movie set. Miles of tunnels, canteens with rusty pots still on the stoves, bunkers with old maps still pinned to the walls. And then, there was the secret nuclear bunker in Kelvedon Hatch, hidden under a regular-looking farmhouse. Visitors could walk down a narrow staircase and suddenly find themselves in a full-blown Cold War command center, complete with giant computers, gas masks, and emergency sleeping quarters. Suddenly, people realized England's greatest mysteries weren't above ground, they were underneath it. Everyone thinks Coast and Pictures Brighton Pier or Blackpool Lights, but starting around 2010 something cooler was happening. England's secret coastlines were getting uncovered. Tucked away from tourists were places like Dungeness, Kent, a surreal desert-like beach where old fishing boats rusted next to modern art sculptures. It looked like Mars. if Mars had seagulls. Robin Hood's Bay, Yorkshire, a tiny twisted fishing village that looks straight out of a pirate movie. Narrow alleys, worn-down taverns, smugglers' tunnels leading straight to the sea. Holy Island, Northumberland, only accessible at low tide, when a hidden road emerged from the water like something out of a dream. Social media wasn't huge yet, so people shared these places by word of mouth, like secret codes. You didn't Google Dungeness. Someone leaned in at a pub and said, "You ever heard about the beach where time forgot?" And suddenly, a new kind of traveler was born, the adventurer who wanted the weird England, not the polished one. By 2012, England wasn't just about castles and coastlines anymore, it was about ghosts. Yeah, ghosts exploded in popularity like never before. Places that used to be whispered about quietly suddenly became hotspots for full-on ghost tours, haunted hotel stays, and midnight investigations. The ancient Ram Inn in Gloucestershire, a 12th century inn where people claimed they got shoved by invisible hands. Barry Pomeroy Castle in Devon, where visitors heard screams echoing through the ruins even when no one else was around. Pluckley Village in Kent, officially named the most haunted village in England, with over a dozen different ghosts reported. And it wasn't just about scaring yourself. It was about connecting to the layers of history that you couldn't see with your eyes. Every creaky floorboard, every cold breeze, every unexplained whisper reminded people, England isn't just living history, it's haunted history. Ghost hunting shows blew up on TV, pub owners leaned into it, turning old cellars into haunted tours. Families went on spooky sleepovers at abandoned manors. It wasn't just fun, it was a brand new way of traveling through time. Chapter 6, 2015, Nature's Wild Comeback. In 2015, something quietly incredible happened. While everyone was busy checking Instagram and complaining about how expensive London was getting, England's wild side was making a comeback. Thanks to conservation projects, rewilding efforts, and local farmers teaming up with environmentalists, areas that had been overfarmed or trashed started to heal themselves. In Knepp Estate in West Sussex, old farmlands were turned back into wild spaces. Suddenly, wild ponies, deer, and even storks started appearing, just roaming free. In Northumberland, once endangered red squirrels began sneaking back into forests. Exmoor and Dartmoor saw rare butterflies and birds return after decades of being wiped out. And the coolest part? Visitors could actually stay in these wild areas, in tree houses, off-grid cabins, and even ancient shepherd huts. England wasn't just about museums anymore, it was about lying under ancient oaks, hearing wolves howl, okay, maybe not yet, but they're trying to bring them back, and realizing that sometimes, the best adventure isn't man-made. It's wild, raw, real, and it's happening right now. Chapter 7, 2018, The Rise of Micro-Adventures. Here's the thing, not everyone has time or money to spend weeks wandering around castles and beaches. Enter micro-adventures. Coined by British adventurer Alistair Humphreys, micro-adventures took off around 2018. The idea? You don't need a plane ticket or a year off work to find adventure. You just need one night. People started wild camping in the South Downs, sneaking up hills with sleeping bags after work, and catching the sunrise over rolling fields. Others biked across counties they'd never even thought about visiting, like the ridiculously pretty Suffolk coast or the forgotten marshes of Essex. One popular micro-adventure, sleeping overnight on Hadrian's Wall, under the stars, wrapped up in a bivy bag, feeling the chill of history settle into your bones. Or grabbing an inflatable canoe and paddling down a misty section of the River Wye at dawn, with no crowds, no sound, just you, the water, and the birds. It wasn't about bragging rights, it was about reconnecting with the land, slowing down, and feeling England again, in a way most tourists never even dream of. Chapter 8, 2020, England under lockdown, secret exploring. 2020 hit, and the world stopped. England froze, tourists vanished, cities fell silent. But for locals, something strange and beautiful happened. Neighborhoods that people ignored for years suddenly became treasure maps. Tiny alleyways, forgotten gardens, ancient city walls hidden behind modern stores. Suddenly, everyone had time, and no excuses, to really explore what was right outside their front doors. In places like York, people rediscovered snickleways, tiny medieval passageways that twisted and turned between buildings. In London, hidden gems like Epping Forest and Richmond Park exploded in popularity. Ancient royal hunting grounds where deer still roamed like ghosts. And in the countryside, locals started finding forgotten wells, Roman roads, Neolithic burial mounds, things they'd driven past 1,000 times without ever noticing. It was like England pulled back the curtain, And for the first time in generations, people looked closer. They stopped rushing, they wandered, they paid attention, and they realized England wasn't just history on a page, it was alive, and it was waiting, and it was. Chapter 9, 2022. The Year of the Lost Villages, again. As the world opened up again, a funny thing happened. Instead of racing back to cities and tourist traps, people wanted quiet. They wanted meaning, space, stories. So in 2022, England's lost villages had a massive moment, again. But this time people weren't just visiting ghost towns, they were hunting them down. There's a whole subculture now of lost village hunters, people who use old maps, rumors, and GPS to find places where entire communities once lived and vanished. Like Dunwich, Suffolk, once a powerful medieval city, now mostly swallowed by the sea. Hampton-on-Sea, Kent, a town lost to coastal erosion, now just foundations visible at low tide. Whitburn, Cumbria, a village drowned under a reservoir. But sometimes, when the water's low, the church spire reappears. It's like treasure hunting, but instead of gold, you find memories. A broken gravestone, an old hearthstone where fires once burned, a mossy, crumbling wall hidden under vines. And every time you find one, you're reminded how fast time moves, and how powerful it is to just stop and listen. Chapter 10. The Secret Food Revolution. You didn't think we'd forget food, did you? Because in the last 30 years, England's food scene pulled off a full-blown revolution. Once mocked for bland, boring dishes, boiled cabbage anyone? England now has one of the most exciting food cultures on the planet, and most of it's not where you'd expect. Forget the posh restaurants in London. The real action is in tiny coastal pubs serving fresh-caught seafood straight off the boats. Converted barns in Cornwall turning out Michelin-starred meals made from ingredients grown 50 feet away. Urban farms popping up in Manchester, Birmingham, and Bristol, growing microgreens, rare herbs, and even exotic fruits. And street food? Next level. You've got Indian-inspired tacos in Birmingham, West African jollof bowls in Peckham, Polish pierogi trucks in Leeds. England didn't just upgrade its food, it threw out the rulebook and built a new one. And every meal is a reminder. The real adventure isn't just what you see, it's what you taste. Chapter 11. 2024 and Beyond. England's Secret Future. Now we're here. And if the past 30 years have taught us anything, it's that England isn't done surprising us. Right now, hidden projects are brewing, plans to reopen ancient canals that haven't seen boats in 200 years. A massive new wild corridor stretching from London to Birmingham, linking up forests, rivers and fields into one giant green superhighway. Underground excavation projects in York and Bath that could uncover entire new Roman neighborhoods. And in small villages, people are restoring medieval buildings by hand. In seaside towns, they're rebuilding old shipyards. In forests, they're planting trees that will outlive every single person alive today. The next decade, it's gonna be wild. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it first. England isn't what the guidebooks tell you. It's not a museum trapped in glass. It's alive. It's secret shipwrecks and lost cities, it's haunted tunnels and hidden feasts. It's people, dreaming, building, remembering. Every crack and every stone has a story. Every bend and every river has a secret. Every gust of wind across an empty field once carried 1,000 voices. And if you really want to understand England, you have to go looking, not at the tourist traps, not at the famous landmarks, but in the places everyone forgot. Because those places, they remember you. If you enjoy our journey, please like and subscribe to our channel, and if you like our content and want to support me, you are welcome to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description box below.